Hey everybody, it's Lenora from It's a New Dawn, and we are on our second week of Lori and I talking about the book, The Four Agreements. We're on our second agreement, and the second agreement is don't take anything personally. So I'm going to leave out all the extra talk because honestly, I'm tired of hearing myself talking about. You know what? You know what, you guys? All my links are below. If you haven't watched one thing of me, you should be anyway. Just go and watch. Listen. All my links for the Rawr bar, my website, everything is below. We'll have Lori's link below too. I just want to get right into it. Don't take anything personally. So I said last week that more of the agreements meant more to me than, let's say, being impeccable with your word, or even the last one, but we'll get into that. But not taking anything personally was huge for me. So I want to hear what you think that means and what it meant to you reading that.
Yeah, and the thing is that I tie them together because I think they're intertwined. Because if we are telling ourselves we aren't being impeccable with our word, with ourselves, all the negative self-talk, then we are believing all that. We're taking it personally. And so all that stuff when we heard growing up about being stupid and stuff, it's like, okay, why did I take that personally? And why am I still taking it personally? And the belief systems are something that I think that we all need to work on, but also the words that we say to ourselves and how we lash out to others, how we can possibly work toward not lashing out, and even in just teasing manners, saying things like, oh my gosh, why did you even do that? You're so silly, just the littlest things, and we say it to ourselves. We're constantly saying that. Why am I so silly? Why did I do that? We're putting
Mhm.
ourselves down all the time. But when it affects you, and the biggest thing I found in this chapter was talking about fear and the opposite being love. And what I always say, my grandma always used to say, God is love, love is God, period. That's all you need to know. If you go throughout life, just knowing that much, that would be helpful. But how many times do we catch ourselves in fear more so than in love? And
Mhm.
unlearning those wounds, that is where I think helps us get to be more impeccable with our word about ourselves and with others. And I think it correlates, but not having to feel other people's projections on us, knowing that they're coming from a different place and their perspective, their upbringing is different. And maybe they're in a different journey. Maybe they haven't become to thrive and become warriors and are at that place quite yet. And so we can
Mhm.
forgive, which is difficult to do, but we are capable of doing difficult things. So that's my synopsis on the chapter itself. There's a lot of things that I did underline. Um, and it's just the emotions where he was talking about the jealousy that, when someone says, oh, you're perfect, or oh, you're so good, oh, you're fantastic, we're not taking that personally either, because that's based on how they're feeling at the time. And
Mhm.
they could get jealous, sad, or mad, and all of a sudden say, I don't like the way you did that. Why did you do it that way? And it's all
Mhm.
on perspective. Perceptions are huge, I think. And I think the way he describes a lot of things in this chapter is fantastic. There was one paragraph that I didn't fall in love with out of the whole entire book. And that
Oh,
was,
tell me it. Tell me it.
oh my gosh, when he was talking, okay, humans agree to help each other suffer, which I had a therapist talk about that, about how sometimes we grow up in such suffering that we become used to it, which I kind of understood his point a little bit, the struggle and things of that nature. But when he was talking about if you are with people who need to suffer, something in you makes you abuse them. Okay, well, let's step back and work on ourselves so that we don't feel the need to abuse. Like, I didn't
Okay.
agree with that particular verbiage is off.
Okay. I get that. I get that. I don't really have thoughts about that. I don't remember reading that that part of it.
That's on page
Um,
57, top page
wow.
57.
Um, so when is this the agreement he talked about? And I think you touched upon it. Coming from a place of fear, so this way you can, whoever is saying whatever they're saying, you can't take it personally because it's not about you. It's never about you,
Right.
right?
Right. This is all in that second chapter.
Right. So
Everything
it's
that I was
never
talking
about
about.
you.
Don't take
And
it
that was
personally.
just so hard to grasp for me. So it makes it more believable for me. I get it a lot more now. Every time I feel like I'm taking things personally, now you can say that I am a sensitive person. I'm an empath and it's hard. It's really hard because I feel everything. And even when somebody says you're too sensitive, for me not to take it personally, I have to step back and be, I swear to God, I think of this book. I think of the words coming out of these pages and I'll say it. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about them. Now, what does that mean to you? Like when you say it's not about you, it's about them.
And it's
What's it?
hard to apply. These principles are difficult. The agreements are hard to apply in certain situations because, yeah, I get triggered when I hear things like that. But then I think, okay, they're in a place where they can't focus or concentrate on whatever it is we're trying to concentrate and focus on. And to say, that hurts me hearing those words from you. And to try to communicate if it's someone's really close to you. If it's in business or something, I can let it go totally, or friendships, things of that nature. But if they're really close to me and we're on a very personal, very close relationship, I like to over communicate, and that's my style. And please, when you say those type of things, it hurts my feelings, and I want you to understand that I would like to let that go, but I would like to understand where you're coming from when you feel as if I am being too sensitive in this situation. You know what I
Do you
mean?
actually say all of that
I
to a
have said
person?
that in a situation, yeah, and
Oh, okay.
when I was in therapy and talking about it, I brought it into a very close and personal relationship, and, it was blown off, and that hurt even more. And I thought,
Hmm.
wow, if I could just, and people, you can't control what they say and what they do. You just can't. So I had to decide that if that was important enough for me to move forward in that relationship or let it go.
Hmm. I want to say also before we go any further, am I like, mm, sorry, you guys, um, that I do intertwine all of them. I'm just saying there's
Yeah, yeah.
some that kind of just stuck out at me. And the third one, definitely too, these two, the third and this one kind of just went together. But I do feel from the book that I definitely need to talk it out, just like you said. Um, if there's something that's bothering me that somebody said, I don't let it fester. I kind of I don't have any fear as far as picking up a phone or writing a text and saying we need to talk. So it's, I guess it's around like on the same around the same lines as you, where I need to communicate. I want to know exactly what they're feeling like. Or I'll tell them exactly how I felt about what they said. So it's, and that all comes from the book.
Right.
The communication is so key for me, and that comes from me making assumptions about everything, reading this book and saying, okay, so how do I resolve that? And for me, it's communication. For me, it's like if something's bothering me and I'm taking that like as this attack on me, then I communicate with the person. And more times than not, way more times than not, it's not what I think. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
So it's
Yes.
made life so much easier. You guys, you got to read this book.
Right. And another point too is one of the things that one of my therapists was telling me is when I have a conversation like that, deep rooted conversation, is to bring in words as I. Never say, your words hurt me. What you said hurt me. Say, I felt uncomfortable and hurt when I heard the word fill in the blank. And so that they can understand from that point of view that they're not being attacked, that these are my feelings and I own them. And no matter what, if it were you or someone else, I'm working through them, but I want you to be aware of them.
Yeah, I love that for sure. It's on the same wavelength as that. And it's brought me so much freedom
Yes.
from like sitting there and festering and how many times do we make assumptions and make tones from text? Like she said, and you make this tone with the text, not me. I talk. I talk it out and it's made life way easier. And I'm going to end it on that because that totally changed my life. Because I would sit there and be like, "Oh, she's this, she's that, she's that," from a one sentence somebody might have said to me, you know?
Right.
And communication was key because I did not want to make that assumption. How do I know that to be true unless I talk it out with that person and find out where they're coming from?
Mhm.
So that's where I'm going to leave that second agreement at. And I'm going to say again, get the book, audio. It'll change your life. How would you like to end our little chat?
Yeah, I don't take anything personally. Changed a lot of how I viewed the world in general, even just the littlest things, even with my kiddo. When he gets off the school bus and, he's upset or something and he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't take it personally. He just needs to decompress. There's so many different things that are going through somebody's mind. We have, what, 6,000 thoughts a day or something? Like, there's so many
70,000.
70,000. Yeah, 70,000.
70,000
That's the number.
thoughts.
There's maybe it's 60,000, but yes, that it's crazy. So we don't know. And they always say, assuming makes an ass out of you and me. So we mustn't do that. Right. So yeah, it's very important to really grasp the concept and absorb it and journal it or do whatever you have to do. But to apply them is a little more difficult, but we can do difficult things.
Yeah, but that's why we're here how many years later
Yeah.
and how many times we've read the book
Right.
because it's a matter of habit too. And sometimes it takes a lot of kicks in the ass to
That's
get to form a new habit. But I'm working on it every day. Anyway, as usual, thank you for joining me. This will be our second week in February for the second agreement, and we'll be back for the third week. Lori, all your information is going to be in the show notes. Do you want to add anything as far as anybody getting in touch with you or?
Nope. I'm Lori with itstimesunshine.com, where we have a new podcast called Co-Creating Impact, where people chat for 15 minutes, where you're going to be on the first week of February. Woo woo. So yeah,
Yay. Can't wait.
thanks for
And on
having
that note, you guys, again, all my information will be in the show notes. If you have any questions, all my information's there. Get in touch with me. Have a wonderful and blessed day, everybody. Take care.